Arnold Schwarzenegger's take was exactly what we needed.
He had such a great way of communicating with the students that agreed or disagreed with him. It's a human being. A human life is gone.
While speaking at USC's Democracy Day celebration, the Hollywood legend and former governor reflected on Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination and offered a powerful solution moving forward.
And I think it is very important that we turn this around. Imagine that you get together and you start having communications together and solving problems together.
That's why today we're breaking down this eye-opening speech. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Last week, as everyone in this room knows, the country witnessed the most horrific murder of Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah. And I wanted to ask you, what were your reactions to this event?
I was very, very upset that someone's life was taken because they have a different opinion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this was a great communicator, a great advocate for the right, for Republican causes. And he had such a great way of communicating with the students that agreed or disagreed with him. And I just thought, it's a human being. A human life is gone.
This is the part that far too many don't seem to understand. I'm sure you've seen a disturbing number of people openly celebrating this tragedy as if it were some kind of win, completely ignoring that when a public figure is assassinated and the reaction is joy, it's a sign we're heading into dangerous territory. You see, this kind of mindset only fuels the deep division already tearing through the country. It also pushes people further into their echo chambers, where no one talks to anyone who thinks differently, and when honest conversations disappear, the loudest, most radical voices fill the void. That's not how a healthy society functions. Arnold also pointed out something that most in the MSM, along with plenty of politicians on the left, conveniently overlooked. And honestly, it's hard to hear without feeling a knot in your stomach.
And he was a great father, a great husband, and I was thinking about his children. They will only be reading about him now, instead of him reading to them bedtime stories. I mean, it's just unbelievable of what is going on. So I was shocked when I saw this, as we all were. And I think that since then there are endless amount of debates about how do we stop this?
Well, if your name is Ilhan Omar, AOC, or Rashida Tlaib, expressing basic human sympathy for Charlie's wife and kids apparently takes a backseat to making all sorts of baseless accusations about the guy. That's a major flaw in our discourse, because other than proving to the rest of the country that they lack any sort of empathy, it also highlights a much deeper issue. It's become painfully clear that in most political conversations, any genuine discussion about policies or actual solutions happens in the first 5 minutes if we're lucky. After that, it's all character attacks. And while this happens more frequently on one side than the other, no one's completely innocent. Arnold took the moment to break down the root cause of the problem, and he made some valid points.
But we have to acknowledge that the cause of all of this is the social media companies that are dividing us, the mainstream media companies that are dividing us, the political parties, the Democrats that are dividing us, the Republicans that are dividing us. So we're getting hit from so many different angles. And we have to be very careful that we don't get any closer to that cliff. Because when you fall down that cliff, down there is no democracy.
I don't think we could just blame social media platforms because that's the last step in a much longer process. The real spark comes from politicians and narrative setters who decide what issues get pushed into the spotlight. And once the MSM picks it up, they run with it, amplifying that message on every platform they can. After enough repetition, that narrative becomes gospel, even if it's completely detached from reality. That's how we end up with claims like MAGA is fascist being treated as a fact, not opinion. At that point, it only takes one unstable individual to take it seriously and pull the trigger. That's how we land in the mess we're in right now. But Arnold isn't the one to point at problems without offering solutions. So let's hear what he has to say.
And I think it is very important that we turn this around. And so this is why I recommend very strongly that people always say, well, what can I do? I'm just an individual. But each and every one of you in here can make a difference. You can show leadership. This is about leadership. This is a time to show leadership, where USC students from the Democratic Club to the Republican Club can get together. Imagine that you get together and you start having communications together and solving problems together. And you will be an example for the rest of the nation and for all universities, how you get together, how you not see the other side as the enemy, or to fight fire with fire, like they're saying today, or to declare war on each other, as they're saying today.
That's exactly the kind of solution that Charlie offered, using conversation, debate, and shared values to push towards common sense ideas. If we're genuinely serious about real change, it needs to start with the next generation, and not just in colleges. A first good step would be de-radicalizing the teaching staff, as we've already seen some so-called professors openly celebrating this tragedy. And if that's not a sign that they shouldn't be anywhere near a classroom, I don't know what is. Second, creating a culture that welcomes real, open debate. Disagreeing with someone shouldn't be seen as a threat. It's just a part of life. The more we accept that, the healthier our discussions become.
Because remember, the people power is the ultimate power. That's what democracy is all about. This is what democracy is all about. If you analyze the word Democrat, I mean the Latin, demo, people, crat, power. That's what it is. People power. Not politician power. It's people power. So use that power and start getting together and show to the country and to the world that we can do it.
Honestly, this speech deserves to just be played on repeat in every public square, because it's the kind of clarity that cuts through the noise, especially in a time when we're bombarded with radicalizing sound bites in the wake of Charlie's assassination. People need to take a step back and remember, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. We have far more in common than the media or the political extremes would have us believe. This goes without saying. But I'd like to call you to pray for Charlie and his family, and may his soul rest in peace. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the story, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.